Let's start with our auspicious invocation prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So again, my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining, and my gratitude to my dear God sister Anuradha Leela Mataji for giving me this opportunity. And again, my sincere apologies for making you all wait. Please forgive me. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to embark on a very special adventure. We are going to try to get an overview, get a brief understanding of the most essential foundational spiritual text in the Vedic library, that is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita, and in 18 sessions we will try to get an overview of these 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and today would be session number 1, where we will be covering the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra, also called as Setting the Scene. So this chapter really sets the scene for the rest of the Bhagavad Gita, where very divine spiritual instructions are given for the welfare and betterment of all of us. So in this first chapter, the scene is that the king of the world, the king of the entire planet Earth, is Maharaj Dhritarashtra, and his secretary Sanjay, who by the mercy of his spiritual master Sri Vyasadeva has received a very special ability to be able to visualize and also hear anything that is going on far away. He can sit in one place and visualize and hear it. Far away on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a great war is being fought between two sets of cousins, the 5 Pandav brothers, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadev, and on the other side, the Kauravas, who are 100 brothers headed by Duryodhan. And their army is much larger. They have 11 divisions of military, whereas the Pandavas only have 7. So the Pandav army is much smaller. The Pandavas are the good people. They are pious, noble, and truthful. And the Kauravas are selfish, wicked, and irreligious. They are selfish, but they have a larger army. So they have assembled to fight. And even though the Pandavas have been wronged multiple times, they have been treated with injustice so many times, still, out of compassion, Arjun, who is one of the 5 pious Pandav brothers, he is going to have an emotional breakdown. He is going to have a crisis, a mental crisis, just with the thought that I have to fight against my own cousins, I have to fight against my spiritual master, my teacher, my grandfather, because all of them, the teacher, grandfather, they are somehow, by the quirk of fate, they have ended up on the opposite camp with the Kauravas. And Pandavas are having to fight against their own cousins, friends, family members, grandfather, and their teacher. Their teacher is Dronacharya and their grandfather is Sri Bhishma Dev. And the Pandavas have to fight against them and kill them. And let's see what happens. As they assemble on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to fight this war for who is going to rule the earth planet, who is going to be the undisputed ruler of the earth planet. To decide this war is being fought. And Dhritarashtra, the king who is sitting in New Delhi, Hastinapur, is asking his secretary Sanjay that after my sons, my 100 sons, the Kauravas, and those 5 sons, Pandavas, assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, what did they do? Sanjay replies that, O king, after Duryodhan saw the 2 sides assembled, he went to his teacher Dronacharya and spoke that both the armies are assembled, and you see our enemies, the Pandavas, the pious 5 brother Pandavas, their army is so expertly arranged by their commander-in-chief, Drupad Maharaj. But even in our army, there are very great warriors. I agree that in the opposite camp, there is Bhim, there is Arjun, there are very great warriors like Drupad, Virat. But still, even in our army, there are great warriors who are willing to lay their lives for my sake. And who are these personalities? These personalities, or great teacher, in our army are personalities like you yourself. Oh Dronacharya, you are such an unparalleled fighter. And we have Bhishma Dev, who is the undisputed best warrior in the whole world. You and Bhishma both are on my side, and my powerful friend Karna is there, Kripacharya is there, and your son Ashwathama is there, Vikarna is there. So many powerful warriors are there on our side, and they are all very, very enthusiastic to fight, even to the extent of laying down their lives for my sake. And we are equipped with all kinds of weapons, and we are all experienced fighters. So let us fight enthusiastically, and let's give protection, special protection to grandfather Bhishma, because Bhishma is the most powerful warrior. Our strength is unlimited, but the strength of the Pandavas is limited. We have 11 divisions of military, they only have 7. Our army is bigger and stronger. Their army is smaller and weaker. In this way, the wicked Duryodhan spoke to his teacher Dronacharya. Then what happened was, Bhishma Dev, who was the commander-in-chief of the Kaurav army headed by Duryodhan, he blew his conch shell. In those days, blowing the conch shell indicated the consent and the will to fight. Before the Kshatriyas started fighting, they would loudly blow their conch shells. And these conch shells were very personal, and their sound also was very unique and personal. Every great warrior, every warrior worth his salt had their own conch shell with a particular name, with a particular sound. So the Kaurav army, who were the wicked people, they blew their conch shells, and their conch shells together made a very tumultuous sound. And this was compounded by the beating of drums, blowing of bugles and trumpets and horns. So it was a cacophony. It was a very loud, tumultuous sound that reverberated in all directions. Then, on the pious side, the side of the Pandavas, Lord Krishna and Arjun, his dear friend and devotee, they were seated on a beautiful chariot which was drawn by white horses. The color white indicates purity. And then Krishna and Arjun, Krishna is the supreme lord and Arjun is the supreme devotee. They both blew their conch shells. Krishna's conch shell was called Panchajanya and Arjun's conch shell was called Devadatta. They blew these conch shells, and Bhim also joined in. Bhim was perhaps one of the most powerful warriors. He was one of the strongest people on the planet. He blew his conch shell, which was called Poundra. And the sound of these conch shells was so loud that it shattered the hearts of the wicked Kauravas. This itself indicated that the Pandavas would be victorious. Then Arjun, who was on the chariot that had the flag of Hanumanji, Kapidhwaja. Hanumanji was present on the flag of Arjun because Hanumanji is the best devotee. Hanumanji represents devotion. Hanumanji represents service. And because when we are devoted and we serve Krishna, victory is guaranteed. Param Vijayate, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Because victory is guaranteed, Hanumanji also represents victory. Traditionally, Hanumanji's name is invoked whenever there is a religious fight, because Hanumanji always protects devotion, protects the path of religion, true religion, and awards victory. So it was very auspicious sign that Arjun's flag was bearing the emblem of Hanumanji, Kapidhwaja. And Arjun seated on this chariot with Hanumanji on the flag and Krishna at the reins. He looked at the military formation of Duryodhan and his brothers like Dushasan, and he spoke to Krishna, who is called Achyut, the infallible one. Arjun spoke to his Lord and his friend Krishna that please take my chariot between the two armies. Why? So that I can see the people, the warriors who have come to fight today. I want to see my enemies. A good warrior always likes to see the enemies, to judge their strength so that one can be prepared. So let's go. Please take the chariot in between the two armies and let me see how the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, has come here with his associates, his supporters, to fight us. Then Sanjay told Dhritarashtra, "O Maharaj Dhritarashtra, after Krishna was addressed by Arjun thus, Krishna drew the fine chariot right in the middle of the two armies. And in the presence of Bhishma Dev, in the presence of Dronacharya, and all the great warriors of the Kaurav army, Lord Krishna told Arjun that, O Kunti Nandan, O son of Kunti, please see all the warriors who have assembled here to fight with you." Now, in those armies, Arjun could see on both sides his brothers, his uncles, his grandfathers, his teachers, his friends, his sons, his grandsons, his in-laws, his well-wishers. These were all the people he knew. It was like a big family reunion. But alas, it was on a battlefield where they had come to kill each other. When Arjun saw these different friends and relatives who had come to fight with each other and kill each other potentially, Arjun was overwhelmed with compassion. No, no, no. As family and friends, we should come together to worship the Lord. We should not come together to kill each other and cause such bloodshed. If all of us were to die, what will happen to our wives? They will become widows. What will happen to our children? They will become fatherless. It is said that there were millions of warriors on that huge battlefield of Kurukshetra, which means millions of women on both sides would become widows. And millions of children would become fatherless. And Arjun's heart broke at this thought. He said to Krishna, "Oh my dear Krishna, seeing these friends and relatives before me who have come together not to celebrate a family reunion, but to fight each other. The limbs of my body are quivering. My mouth is drying up. My whole body is trembling. The hair on my body is standing on end. And my famous bow, the Gandiv, is slipping from my hand. My skin is burning. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am not able to stand. I am forgetting myself. My mind is reeling. I only see causes of misfortune. Oh Krishna, nothing good is going to come out of this war. I don't see how by killing my friends and family, I can enjoy victory afterwards. How will I enjoy the kingdom when I know that I have attained this kingdom by killing my kith and kin? Oh Govinda, what use is this kingdom? What use is the material happiness, or what use is life itself when all this will be tainted by the blood of my teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, uncles, in-laws, grandsons? What will I do with this property? What will I do with my life if I earn all this by killing those who I love, by killing those who I have to protect? I don't want to fight this war. I do not want to participate in this bloodshed. Even if I get the 3 worlds in exchange, even if I get all the wealth of the world, all the property, all the gold coins, I don't want to fight, because this fight will result in the death of so many friends and family. I will not derive any pleasure from anything I gain from this war. Besides, my dear Krishna, sin will overcome us if we kill our family and friends. Family and friends are supposed to be protected, not murdered. I don't think we will ever be happy if we participate in this war. Those who participate in this war, I think their hearts are overtaken by greed for money and property. Just see, they have come here to fight. They see no fault in killing each other. They see no fault. But we can see the fault in this war. We can see the fault in destroying family, in destroying society. Therefore, why should we act? Why should we engage in these acts of sin? Let us not fight, Krishna. Let us not fight. Don't you know, Krishna, with the destruction of the family, destruction of the father and the husband in the family traditions are destroyed. And then rest of the family will not have a source of income. And then to earn money, they may engage in irreligious activities. And when irreligion becomes prominent in the family, then the women become exploited. Being husbandless, being fatherless, these wives and daughters, they will be at risk of being polluted and exploited by criminals. And when women are exploited, then there is unwanted progeny. These children don't get the proper upbringing that they need. And when unwanted population rises in the society, then life becomes hellish, both for the individual families and also for the society in general. And my dear Krishna, if we fight this war, we will be responsible for destroying the families and the family traditions and creating havoc in society. The performance of the holy sacrifices will stop when unwanted population will increase in society. And as a result, the ancestors also will suffer because the performance of sacrifice will be stopped. By the evil deeds of those like us who destroy family tradition, who destroy families, and who are the cause of increase in the unwanted children, all kinds of community projects, family welfare activities, they will all be destroyed. And Krishna, this is not just my opinion, but I have heard in the Guru Parampara, I have heard in the disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions, those who do not follow the Vedic scriptures, they always dwell in hell. Alas, Krishna, alas, how strange it is that we have come here prepared to fight for our own greed, and we are willing to commit sinful activities driven by greed. driven by desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own family and friends. Oh Krishna, it is better for me if the wicked sons of Dhritarashtra, headed by Duryodhan, Dushasan, weapons in hand, they attack me and kill me while I am unarmed and while I am not resisting them on this battlefield. I don't want to fight, Krishna. I don't want to fight. This war will only cause pain and suffering in this world. Sanjay told Maharaj Dhritarashtra, after Arjun spoke in this way on the battlefield, right in the middle of the two armies where everyone could hear them. After saying this, Arjun put his Gandiv bow away, put his arrows away, and sat down on the chariot, his mind completely overwhelmed with grief. Completely overwhelmed with grief. Arjun was overtaken by grief. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gītā ends over here. What do we learn from this? Few lessons. My dear friends, no matter who we are, no matter what our position is, no matter what our educational qualifications are, no matter how much money we have, no matter which school we went to, no matter which country we were born in, no matter what the color of our skin is, no matter how beautiful we are, no matter how influential we are, no matter how talented we are, whoever we may be president, with the biggest Bollywood, Hollywood actor, we may have won Grammy Awards for our singing, we may be the top entrepreneurs, we may be the richest people, movers and shakers of society. No matter who we are, all of us without exception, each and every one of us will go through phases in life where we do not know what to do. We will be confused, we will be in a situation of dilemma, and we will be at a loss. What do I do? How did this happen? Where do I go from here? We will be confused in life. All of us will go through such phases in life, my dear friends. And what does Bhagavad Gītā teach us? Bhagavad Gītā teaches us something very, very important. Bhagavad Gītā teaches us from the example of Arjun that when we are in a situation of crisis, when we are in a dilemma, when we are confused, when we do not know what we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do, we must seek guidance from someone who is spiritually very, very advanced. Material solutions to material problems will result in problems that are worse than the original problem. Shri Prahlad Maharaj says this in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will repeat. Material solutions to material problems will result in problems that are far worse than the original problem that we were trying to solve. Take, for example, locomotion. Take, for example, transportation. Now we proudly say, oh, this world has become a global village. Don't we say? Global village. This is a globe. Previously, people could not even go someplace that was 1,000 miles away. They would live and they would die in the place where they were born. Or maybe some places in the vicinity. They would travel a little bit in a horse carriage or by foot. But generally, they would stay in the place they were born. For example, I was born in India. In the bygone years, it was inconceivable how someday I would be sitting in North America. There was no way of crossing the ocean and coming here. All my ancestors were born and they died in the motherland, in India. But here I am sitting in America. I am only 43 years old, and already many times I have gone back and forth from my place of birth in India and United States of America. So many times I've gone and come back, gone and come back. No big deal. Why? Because there is very efficient, very evolved means of transportation. It's great. Even now in Atlanta, where I work, my workplace is 35 miles from the place where I live. And it takes me around 45 minutes, 50 minutes to get there when I use the interstate. Previously, 35 miles, it would take a few days to get there, at least a couple of days to get there. And I commute. I go in the morning, I work my 10-hour shift, and I'm back the same day. No big deal, every day. So transportation has really evolved. But my dear friends, remember, material solution to material problems creates problems that are far worse than the original problem. What has transportation caused? What problems has transportation caused? Think about it. So much pollution. Cancer is increasing. Cancer is not just increasing because there are better diagnostic modalities available now, but cancer is actually factually increasing because of pollution. This is a fact. More and more people are getting, in fact, now the statistics say if we simply live long enough, all of us will get cancer someday. It is unavoidable. They did a study where men who died after the age of 80 for whatever reason, it could be from a stroke, it could be from a heart attack, it would be from a car crash. They did biopsies on them. They did autopsy on them and did biopsies. And they found more than 90% of those people, those men, had cancers in their body lurking, which they were not aware of, especially prostate cancer in men. If we simply live long enough, we will all get cancer because there is so much pollution and our lifestyles are so unhealthy. It is also an undisputed fact that obesity is carcinogenic. Simply being obese, having extra adipose cells in the body, fat in the body, predisposes us to get cancers. I repeat, obesity is carcinogenic. Obesity causes cancer. This is an undisputed fact, scientifically proven fact. Obesity causes cancer. And if you just look around, obesity is a pandemic. Obesity is everywhere. I did my residency in a rural hospital in central India. It was a rural hospital called Acharya Vinobhave Rural Hospital in a place called Savangi in Maharashtra. I did 3 years of surgical residency there, my dear friends, which my hand on my heart, I'm telling you, I must have operated on hundreds of patients. I did not see one obese patient. I did not see in my 3 years of surgical training, I did not see even one person who was obese. I did not see one person whose body mass index, BMI, was 30 or more. Not one person. While giving the incisions, I do not remember having to cut through layers and layers of fat. Never. Those were hardy people. They were all working in the fields. They were agriculturists. Tough people. In my 3 years of training, I did major surgeries. Never once did I use morphine or Percocet. It was not available. We only had ibuprofen. And ibuprofen in IV form, which is called Voveron in India, diclofenac. These are the only pain medicines. We did major surgeries, gallbladder removals, even kidney transplant surgery with just ibuprofen as the pain medicine. No Percocet, no oxycodone, no morphine. It was not available in that rural hospital. And patients did fine. But anyway, coming back to the point, so much pollution has increased in this world. And it is because of burning of fossil fuels. Now, in Georgia, if you go on Interstate I-75, there is a billboard, where they tell us how many people have died, not injured, how many people have died in road accidents in just the state of Georgia. There is a daily update. And for so many years, I have been watching that billboard. Every year, and you can look up these statistics online, every year in just the state of Georgia, which is one of the 50 states in the USA, in just the state of Georgia, there are approximately 1,400 to 1,500 people, human beings, who are killed in road accidents in just the state of Georgia. 1,500 human beings die every year in the state of Georgia. 1,500. More than 100 people every month. This is just in Georgia. Imagine how many people are dying in the United States. And United States has one of the safest cars, safest traffic laws, safest roads. Imagine how many people are dying in India. Imagine how many people are dying in Pakistan in road accidents. Imagine how many people are dying every day in road accidents. Look up the statistics. How many people die in road accidents all over the world? Over the years, it is more than World War I, World War II put together. I repeat, more people have died in road accidents than World War I and World War II put together since locomotives were invented. See the problem? Material solutions to material problems causes problems that are far worse than the original problem we were trying to address. So we were trying to address transportation. Let's have better transportation. And what do we get? We get more people killed than those killed in World War I and World War II put together, which is millions and millions of people. And it keeps going. As we are talking, people are dying in road accidents. This is one simple example. So we have caused pollution, which causes COPD, asthma, reactive airway disease, bronchitis. It causes cancers, different cancers, and it causes death by road accidents. And my dear friends, we have not even spoken about the morbidity caused by road accidents. We spoke about mortality, people die, but how many people get injured? Fractures, traumatic brain injury, spinal injuries. Think of that. This is just one example to illustrate the point that material solutions to material problems causes problems that are far worse than the original problem we were trying to address. So the conclusion is, to get solution to our material problems, we need spiritual solution. And Arjun is teaching this. Arjun has a material problem. He's in a crisis. He is having an emotional breakdown. But he takes shelter of Krishna. He addresses Krishna. Krishna, Govinda, Achyut, please help me. Please help me. So we learn this lesson from Bhagavad Gita today, that when we have problems in life, we should not try to find some stopgap solutions. We should not try for some material solutions. Yes, we may have to do some material maneuvers to help ourselves in that situation, but ultimately the solution to the problem is going to be spiritual solution. And spiritual solution cannot be given by a friend. Spiritual solution cannot be given by some New York Times best-selling author. Spiritual solutions cannot be found on some talk shows on the TV. Spiritual solutions cannot be found by writing letters to agony aunts. You know, there are some agony aunts. They write these columns in magazines. You ask them questions and they will advise you. Andha yatha andha upadiyamana. Blind leading the blind. Spiritual solutions will be given by spiritually advanced Vaishnavas. Devotees who are spiritually advanced. Devotees who love Krishna. Only they are qualified to give spiritual solutions to our problems in life. Just like when we have a medical problem, we go to a board-certified medical doctor, MD. We don't go to a lawyer that I've got gallstones. Can you take my gallbladder out? No. So similarly, when we want spiritual solutions to our problems, we go to a spiritualist, someone who is spiritually realized. This is an important lesson we learned today from chapter 1, that we all will face crisis in life. And when we are in a crisis situation, we must seek spiritual solutions. And to seek spiritual solutions, we must approach an advanced spiritualist, someone who is spiritually very realized, someone who is our well-wisher, someone in whom we have faith. We should approach and get a resolution to our problems. So I will stop here and we'll open it for questions and comments. Thank you very much. Anuradha Leela Devi, Hare Krishna. So you can unmute yourself if you have any questions or comments.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you so much, yes, for explaining it with so much emotion. I really felt it. I really felt the introduction so much. And first I wanted, of course, to invite devotees. Maybe they have questions before me. Randy, do you have any questions? Yes, she has.
Yes, I do have a question. So when they were on the battlefield and he's like telling Krishna that he doesn't want to fight, does Arjun know that Krishna is God?
Very, very interesting question, Randy. Thank you for asking that. Yes, Arjun knows from before that Krishna is God. He has heard it. But Arjun's relationship with Krishna is very interesting. It's a very intimate personal relationship. And because of the intimacy of that relationship, Arjun tends to forget that Krishna is God. Even though he knows, theoretically he knows. It's like if I tell you that, Randy, your daughter is going to be the future president of the United States of America. You say, wow, really? My daughter is going to be the president of the United States of America? Really? Yes. Someone foretells her future. So you now theoretically you know it. But in your intimacy of love, when your daughter will be playing some video game, you will chastise, hey, have you finished your homework? Better you do your homework first. No more than 1 hour of screen time. You will chastise her, you will correct her, even though she is the president of the United States in the future. Because of your relationship of love is so intimate that you forget what is the position of my daughter. So similarly, Arjun knows, he has heard from Bhishma Dev, he has heard from Dronacharya, he has read in the scriptures that Krishna is God. But his friendship with Krishna is so thick, so intimate, that he tends to forget. So it's yes and no, both. Does he know he's God? Yes and no. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Hare Krishna.
So in our spiritual lives, a lot of times, we're facing multiple problems. And just in our lives in general, because like I'm facing a little bit of obesity. That's just one problem. But a lot of more like, when I was in Michigan, I was trying to, take a guidance from the Sangha I was in and everything. And it was a little bit difficult because of the I would just say, like, in general, there's been a lot of things that have happened in the history that I don't want to go into details right now, but like so it's like who to approach, who to ask for guidance, and from what authority people are doing what. It's very like difficult to see, and sometimes to take guidance. And so, but at the same time, we have to live our own lives, like we have to take care of ourselves. So a lot of times I have this like overwhelming feeling that, because I'm working in the auto industry of transportation, so I'm like, this is all nonsense, because there's always, there's so much change, it's like, let's do this. Okay, we're using gasoline now, let's use batteries now. Instead of batteries, now we're going to make sure we're self-driving cars, to avoid accidents. And there's always like you said, material problems, material solutions. And I was always thinking, let me just give up everything and just move into a farm, somewhere. And then, but then there's another problem. Then I don't have enough money to, take care of myself. So I still have to do something in order to, continue working, because the world works so much in the material sense. Like you need money to do a lot of things. So there's a lot of problems, and I get overwhelmed by like all these different problems. So I guess the question is like, if we're sort of like trying to draw a parallel with Arjun, that we have all these like issues that we're trying to face, and we're trying to approach Krishna and the devotees as to what the solution is. I guess I know Srila Prabhupada said that, like, sometimes just the things that are of value take time to come. Like for example, a walnut takes longer to grow and everything than a regular fruit. So like, I guess my question is, how can we keep going? How, with the determination and persistence, like, to really find the solution? Or do we just, kind of accept where we are and just engage that much more in devotional service to hopefully one day, have a solution? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's almost like endless, it seems. So, yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Narottam, Nitai Prabhu. Material problems and life in this material world is not easy. It's not easy, and it does overwhelm us. And sometimes we are just being pulled from so many different directions. We want to make spiritual advancement, so the spiritual duties are pulling us. Then we have our own spiritual practices that require time. We have our financial stability to worry about. We have our job where we have to perform, take care of family members, our obligations to our friends and society. We are being pulled from different directions, and we have to wear all these different hats, and it can get overwhelming. The way out is we have to have a good foundation of spiritual life. We have to know that all these material problems are temporary. All the material solutions are circumstantial and temporary. And ultimately, in the ultimate analysis, we as spiritual beings, we as Jivatma, spiritual beings, spiritual entities, have nothing to do with the material problems and the material solutions. We have only to do with Krishna. Our only real relationship is with Krishna. Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nitya Das. Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Bheda Bhed Prakash. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit teaches us, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us that Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nitya Das. Our eternal dharma, our eternal religion is to be a devotee of Krishna and to serve Krishna with love. So in our life, we should have our priorities very clear. The foundation of my life is my relationship with Krishna, Krishna's devotees, and my spiritual practices called sadhana. This is the foundation of our life. And then I have this body and I have to take care of it. So I have to, do things that I have to do to improve my physical health. I may have to go to a doctor. I may have to take medicines. I may have to follow a certain lifestyle, and I will do that. To earn money, I have to have a job where I know things are crazy. Different automobile manufacturers are manufacturing and just churning out cars after cars after cars after cars and competing with each other and giving so many special discounts and sales so that even people who don't need cars will buy cars, and there are more cars on the road, and there is traffic jam, and there is more pollution. It's all driven by the capitalist society, all driven by competition and greed for more and more and more money. And we live in this world of greed and selfishness and unhealthy competition. We do our job because we need the money, and somehow by the arrangement of fate, this is the training you have, where you are trained to work in the automobile industry. That's your training, that's your profession. There's not much else you can do in the society because that's your training. Like for me, I'm a doctor, medical doctor, and for me, the natural thing is to go take care of patients and earn my livelihood by that. So we all have our training, we all have our vocations and skill sets. So you use your skill sets in this material world to the best of your ability, working as ethically as you can. Now, whatever money you get out of your job, now it's up to you what you do with that money. Money is honey, my dear Sonny. The rich man's joke is always funny, as they say. Money drives this world. That's corporate America. But when you get that money, now it's up to you what you do with that money. If you use that, like my spiritual master, His Holiness Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, earn with integrity and spend with compassion. Earn with integrity, earn your money, your wealth through integrity, and spend it with compassion. So it's up to us how we spend the money. And if we spend the money in the right way, where we have some expenditure for our spiritual pursuits, some expenditure for charity that will ultimately help this world. And then we also have to take care of our body, our family, our maintenance. So if we do this, then that job, which is frustrating, which is completely material, will actually become spiritual. Because the fruit of that work, the paycheck that you get, you are spending it with compassion. You are spending it for spiritual purposes also. So that work can be transformed into something spiritual, indirectly spiritual, and that can give some satisfaction and peace to the heart. Otherwise, it can get very, very overwhelming. So it's important that every day we do three things. For me, I have made, so if our day is a glass jar and we have to put stones in it, and we have to put small pebbles and we have to put sand. 3 things can fill the jar. For me, there are 3 rocks that I have to put in the jar every day. One is my chanting of the 16 rounds and my 3 times Gayatri every day. Second is some service to the deities at home. Krishna, who is present in the form of deity at home, some puja seva. And number 3 is reading and hearing something spiritual every day. These 3 practices I try to do every day. These are the 3 rocks I have to put in the jar: chanting, deity worship, and reading and hearing about Krishna. Hearing from my spiritual master and reading from Srila Prabhupada's books. So these 3 rocks I do in the morning before I go to work, so that the most important things are done. So if there's a jar and you have to put rocks, small pebbles, and sand, what would you put first? If you put the sand, the jar will fill up and there is no room for the pebbles and the rocks. If you put pebbles, again the jar will fill up and there will be no room for sand and rocks. So what you do is, you first put the rocks, which are the biggest, most important things in the day: chanting, deity worship, and reading and hearing about Krishna. So you put the rocks in first, and because rocks are rocks, there will be crevices, there will be gap, and there will be place. You throw in some pebbles, and when it is full, you still always find some little room where you sprinkle some dust, some sand. Sand will find its way. Sand represents the unimportant things in our day. Checking the news. These are unimportant things. The world will not come to an end if we don't watch news. I have personally not watched news since 2018, and I'm still surviving. So these are unimportant things in life. Checking Facebook, looking at Instagram. What is that? TikTok. So these are all unimportant things in life. So they are the sand. Pebbles are things that we ought to do. They're important, like going to work, working, earning, taking care of one's health, going to one's doctor, exercising, eating healthy, taking care of family members, taking care of friends, attending nice satsangs with devotee friends. So these are all important things we have to fit into our daily and weekly schedule. These are the pebbles. But the rocks are the most important thing. Even if we are not able to do anything else, these 3 rocks have to be fitted in. So if this spiritual foundation is there in our life, then every day we'll feel happy, because we know that we have done the most important things in life. Even if I die today, I don't see tomorrow. I have done the most important things in my life today. So we have to make it a priority to put those 3 rocks. And you can choose what rocks are for you. You have to put those rocks in first. Pebbles will fit in. And then if there is space, some sand can be sprinkled. So in this way, if we prioritize our time, prioritize our life, then life becomes fulfilling. Otherwise, it can be very overwhelming and disappointing. So disciple means discipline. So we have to have this discipline in our life, and then things become better. Is that okay? Narottam?
Yes, Prabhuji, yeah, that's good. Yeah. And sometimes you have to hear this over and over and implement it before it really starts to make sense. I've realized that, like, when I first used to come to the temple, I used to hear these things, of how to finish your japa in the morning, at least do that much, and then, do the most important things earlier in the day, prioritize your day like that, and sleep early, wake up early. And when I was younger, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm still young. I can, do what I need to, do what I want to, I have to get ahead in my life, so that I'm going to spend some nights, late nights, either studying or partying. So anyways, that's my life. I went through that. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I think it really starts to make sense when a person starts applying it, and then and making it a reality. You see I can see the potential of it having such a large effect over time.
Yes, and it becomes easier to implement it when we have 2 things. When we have friends and association who are having the same goals in life, and when we are accountable to someone. So for example, here in Atlanta, we have created a system where we have a Zoom call every morning from 4:30 to 6:30. where 2 hours we all sit in front of the Zoom and we are all muted, so we can only hear our japa, and we chant 16 rounds together, 2 hours. And then we read Srimad Bhagavatam for 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day. And then, I go offer my obeisances to the deities or if possible, I worship before I go for work. So in this way, those 3 things are done before I leave the house or before you go to office. And because we are in Zoom in front of each other, we are accountable to each other. So there's association and there's accountability. Then it becomes easy to implement. That one thing is done nicely in the morning, then rest of the day goes smooth because we have a good foundation. Then we can build on that foundation rest of the day. Okay. Thank you. Anuradha Leela Devi, any final comments?
I just wanted to ask also, Mataji Ina, I know she always has so many questions. Maybe if she has one today.
Who?
Mataji Ina.
Inna.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm actually out of questions today. Maybe I just don't know if your time availability. My biggest one is every time when I start hearing Bhagavad Gītā, I think it's a question which develops with time, is that, I feel for the family and I always understand Arjuna and his doubts and his, grief. I understand that. And, maybe as many times as I start reading Bhagavad Gītā, that's always my question. Is it really necessary to fight families? Was there any other way if, Krishna is God, and why he wants to show us this way through the battle, through the, war? Because, every time when I think I'm a devotee, I think devotees are peaceful. Devotees are those who, want to bring peace. We don't want to kill animals because we want no wars, So this is like complex question of me trying to really see why God, there with this, I understand Arjuna, I understand his feelings, and he still has to go and fight by directions of God. So maybe your explanation of that, could kind of soothe my soul again, because I'm like again disturbed. I'm like, oh, he's so sad and I'm so sad.
Yeah. So, Mother Inna, this is a very, very thoughtful question and very important to understand the solution to this question also. Krishna is God, then why Krishna did not do something to prevent this war? Why Krishna did not avert this great fratricidal war where so many family members and friends were killed? So we have to understand that all of us have free will, and Krishna does not interfere with our free will, because it is only through free will that we can express our love for Krishna. So Krishna can put the Sudarshan Chakra to everyone's neck and say, chant Hare Krishna. Put the gun to the head and say, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. And we will all be forced to chant Hare Krishna. But there is no love in that. We all have free will, and the free will exists so that we can, in our own unique, creative way, offer our love to Krishna. Free will means Duryodhan also gets a vote. So Arjun got a vote, Yudhishthir got a vote, and they voted peace. Yudhishthir even sent Krishna as a peace messenger before the war because they wanted to avoid the war. But unfortunately, somehow everyone has a free will, and unfortunately, Duryodhan and his 99 brothers, they used their free will in the wrong way. They also get a vote, and they had 100 votes, and Pandavas had only 5 votes. So Pandavas voted for peace, but the Kaurav brothers, they voted for war. They voted for selfishness. They voted for bigotry. They voted for partialism. So therefore, there was a war. The war was not because of Krishna. The war was not because of Arjun. The war was because of Duryodhan, Shakuni, Karna, Dushasan, Dhritarashtra. They were the cause of the war. So Krishna tried but ultimately the soul, the living entities also have their free will. And it was because of misuse of free will by the Kauravas that the war became inevitable. So therefore, like they say, you put the coin in the jukebox, then you have to dance the dance. So Duryodhan put the coin in the jukebox. So now he has to dance the dance. He has to face the music. And he faced the music. So he's responsible. Does that help you, Ina? Okay, yeah, you can unmute.
Actually, this seems so simple, but this is the first time I hear it this way. Because, whenever I would have this question, whenever somebody would ask me, I'm like, Arjuna Kshatri, he has to fight. But seeing that the free will is the cause of it, it's just such a unique, way of answering this question. Because, I probably will still have it. But right now, it really satisfied, your answer really satisfied my question. And wow, that's something I might forget. We forget we have a free will, and that's why we are here. And that's why we also choose to be on our Zoom meetings and hear of God, because this is our free will. And there is free will of other people, and that fight sometimes is inevitable because everybody has a free will. Wow. Thank you for just one hint for the answer. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I have so many questions, but I don't want to take the time because it's almost over now. So I might leave my question till next time. And I would love to thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today, again, to share your knowledge and answering questions in such an interesting way. And I think all the devotees who joined today, they definitely relished your answers and got something to take with them for the rest of the day and hopefully for more days to come. Thank you so much, Ādi Gadādhara Prabhu.
Thank you, Anuradha Leela Devi. And thank you all the devotees for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See you next time.
See you next time.